good, the bad, and the odd. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. We're your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
Right, so we're into Hammer again. We're doing some more Hammer. This is our 17th movie we've covered. I think our 16th episode because we did do a double on one of them. And this is an unusual one. It's 1 million years BC. Unusual because it's really not an area Hammer usually deal with at all. Is it dinosaurs and cavemen and all that? And also it's got Harryhausen is involved, which is kind of cool. Also, it's kind of a remake of an earlier film from 1940 called 1 Million BC, which not many people talk about. Victor Mature was in that, and Carol, I want to say Lombard, but it isn't. It's another one. Anyway, they're in that. And there's a few scenes which are similar to the two films. Okay. Anyway, let's go on with this one. So, none of the usual Hammer crew, apart from possibly one actor. Different music guy, different director. Director was called Don Chaffee, whose name does not ring a bell at all. So it almost feels like it was a separate production. I'm trying to see if he's got any other. Oh, whoa! He directed Jason and the Argonauts.
Okay.
There you go. So he was. He had some form with Harryhausen, and Jason and the Argonauts, pretty kick-ass film actually.
And Pete's Dragon.
Oh yeah, Pete's Dragon. Wow, Pete's Dragon's not bad either. It was a co-production between Hammer and a company called Seven Arts. So they secured Raquel Welch, I've forgotten her name, Luana, and Tomac was played by John Richardson, who I haven't seen him much, but he really reminded me of the guy that played Sinbad in The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, which I think was John Philip Law. I could be wrong. I think that's who that was. It's set in an age where cavemen and dinosaurs coexist. We all know. Yeah. I think most people know that never happened. That just didn't happen. But yeah, it was mostly filmed in the Canary Islands in winter. Quite striking landscapes.
Yeah, everything's like a blasted hellscape almost.
Hellscape. It's more a scene from Mad Max or something.
Different kinds of bleak every time they go to a new place. Like I think they're called the Rock Tribe.
In fact, we were surprised when we saw flowers or greenery or anything. It was just so unusual. The US version was cut a little, which, this could take some cuts. The version we saw could have easily had 9 minutes cut out, frankly. But we saw the full version, the 100-minute version with the UK version. But the US one has got 91 minutes. Rather than 100.
They could have taken that from anywhere. I couldn't pin down a single bit where there was not some chaff that could be cut.
Yeah, apparently when someone raised this with Ray Harryhausen, he said he didn't make it for professors who wouldn't go see these kind of movies anyway. So yeah, fair enough. It's pretty fun, and it's got an iconic sort of image, which is Raquel Welch in her fur bikini. That poster adorned a lot of walls, I have to tell you, over the years. It's even mentioned in Stephen King's Shawshank Redemption as a point where one of the prisoners has got a Raquel Welch poster in the fur bikini. So, yeah. So there's this chief. Are they called the Rock Tribe or something?
Yeah, I think it's the Rock Tribe and the Shell Tribe.
Rock Tribe. Okay, so they're all like dark-haired, they've got a lot of wig work going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of
hairy wig work.
Yeah.
And we see a bit of a hunting party, and they get a warthog, and then Tomac, who is one of the protagonists of this film, the son of the chief, jumps in and gives it a big old wrestle. And so then we see the tribe all cooking it and celebrating, and they're all a bit, caveman-y, really. They're all grunting and all this. But interestingly, Martine Beswick is one of the cave women. She is a Bond girl from Thunderball, and she went on to some other Hammer films. When we get to them, we'll talk about them. Yeah. And so in fact, I think she was in more than one Bond film. I think she may have been for Russia with Love and Thunderball, but I could be wrong. So he kind of, They get it. They cook the meat. The big boss, who's played by Michael Brown. Who do you tell me who you said?
He was M in some of the Bond
films. In the Dalton ones, I think.
Yeah.
certainly the one after Bernard Lee, and when they didn't have an M for a bit, and then he came in a couple of times. But he's a fairly famous British character actor. What was I saying? Oh yeah. They're all eating their stuff, and then he tries to take Tumac's food. Tumac, the one who wrestled his son, wrestled the dog, he tries to take his food, and Tumac fights him, and he basically gets kicked out, and he falls off the side. No, he doesn't. He falls down into a bush.
He gets launched out of the cave, and he lands in a bush.
Yeah. So he starts
wandering. He wakes up and sort of wanders off.
They start wandering through this bleak, barren landscape. At one point, we see, what do we see? We see a Brontosaurus, which is cool. God knows what he's eating because there's no food here.
Apparently, it was for a scene where it attacks them. In a sort of kind of like King Kong, where there's just a brontosaur that just eats people.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to attack them to the point where that's on the poster.
But they didn't. Didn't go.
But it's just not in the film.
But the first one we see is a Flash Gordon style giant iguana, an iguana with some things stuck to it. I think.
No, I think it was just an iguana.
Just an iguana.
It's just like a black iguana.
Yeah. So they filmed it to make it look gigantic, and a bit of compositing or rear projection or something. And they put these quite cool monster sound effects, like roaring sounds on it, which is again very Flash Gordon, and we get a bit of that. We also see at one point a gigantic tarantula, and with a cricket. We couldn't decide what it was, a cricket or a cicada. Or
it was that type of insect.
Well, one of those kind of things. And then he finds a cave where all these skulls are hanging out.
Weird, semi-eldritch location where there's a tree that's grown in water that isn't flowing, and there's no light. It's what's going on? Sort of thing.
Yeah, and then there's skulls hanging up on the branches.
And then these ape guys show up briefly,
and he manages he clears off. He clears off at that point.
He books it. So.
Yeah, and he carries on and on and on until he's had enough, and finally collapses of exhaustion. Just on a beach, and there's these fair-haired women all laughing. They've all got perfect teeth. All this. They're fishing with fishing spears. And Raquel Welch is one of them. Luana. And they help him when suddenly they're about to help him when suddenly a gigantic
turtle shows up, and
which is called an Archelon.
Archelon.
But it's bigger than a real Archelon, but it's really, really big. And then the men of the Shell tribe start having a go at it. But it just waits his way to sea. They could have just left it.
It basically just ignores them. So.
Yeah. And it went in the sea, and then they carry Tumac back and start nursing him. Luana's kind of taken with him, but the what could be a fella, I can't quite tell. He's a little jealous, but
it's only the guy that's after her, basically.
Yeah. Basically, you see things to suggest the Shell tribe are more advanced. You see, a teacher showing kids paintings. They have some sort of developed language. They have words for things. Not many, but they do have words for things. And they don't they have a? I'm trying to think. Do they have a burial ceremony?
Yeah, they after an Allosaurus attacks.
Oh yeah, there's an Allosaurus attack. Yeah, we've got to talk about that.
Yeah,
because Tumac he's looking like a bit of an outsider, and then the Allosaurus attacks, and they all run away. But then
the kid's stuck up a tree, so
Tumac put up the tree.
Yeah, he put up the tree during a playing session, pretty much.
Yeah, he was showing him how to get the fruit out of the tree by climbing up it and shaking it, and the little girl wanted to go up, so he puts her up. But then the Allosaurus threatens the little girl, so Tumac gets stuck in with spears.
Yeah.
And some of the other guys do, but then one of the guys gets bitten by the Allosaurus.
Yeah, he gets picked up and shook around, so he's dead. So and then Tumac picks up a part of a building that it knocked over, and the Allosaurus runs at him, and he does a pole vault impalement sort of thing.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Really good. I really like the Harryhausen stuff here. And we So basically, he's kind of a bit of a hero, but he kind of likes their spears and keeps trying to steal their spears.
Yeah.
And this causes trouble. And even though he killed the
Of course it
Allosaurus, and they're kind of reasonably happy with him because he tries to steal someone's spears.
Well, he tries to steal the spears, and then he gets in a fight with a guy who tries to stop him and almost kills him. So
Yeah. But then the guy actually, even though he gets cast out, the guy gives him the spear to be on his way. So it's showing they're a little more advanced. So for example, they laugh at him, and he doesn't understand laughing at all, does he?
Yeah.
He doesn't get it. It's like, so he gets cast out, but Luana decides to leave with him.
Yeah, Luana goes as well. So
yeah, and the guy gives him a spear at this point. Meanwhile, the other tribe, the grunting tribe, or slightly more
the
grunting
rock tribe.
yeah, the rock tribe. They're looking for, they're hunting prey, but the chieftain climbs up this rock face as part of this. They're trying to kill a big goat thing, we see his brother. Oh yeah, there was a big contention with his brother all the way through this. We should have mentioned. So his brother kind of finds the chief. His father is hanging from the side of a rock, and he just kind of boots him off.
Yeah, he just kicks him off.
So
takes over him. So
we see that then he kind of becomes the chief. Meanwhile, Tumak and Luana encounter a Triceratops, which they run away from, and then it has a big fight with like a T-Rex looking thing with a horn on its nose. Apparently, that's a Ceratosaurus.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It sounds vaguely right enough to. The Ceratosaurus was like a theropod with a horn on its nose, but that's about as far as how close it is to reality.
Yeah, this thing was bigger than the Ceratosaurus ever. Say it again. Ceratosaurus has ever got, yeah. So anyway, again, there's a lot of padding in this, really.
Yeah.
You could cut any of these things, but we kind of like the dinosaur stuff. That's fine. They want the back.
You can't be mad at just some Harryhausen monster fights.
Yeah, then they get back to the rock tribe. Oh, and hold on, the father turns up, and the rock tribe all scarred
but he's
up.
also
right?
he shows up and he's like burnt for some reason.
But he's obviously a much lesser man, so
he's crippled.
The son is still in charge, and they put up with this old fella. Anyway, they get back there, and when Luana gets seen, there was like there's Tumac's former missus, who is Martine Bestwick, starts doing a weird dance, and it's basically a challenge, right? It's basically a challenge, and she has to fight Luana. Luana and her are fighting, and Luana gets the better of her by pinning her down under a giant horn, and then all the rest of the rock tribe are like grunting away and getting excited and give her a big rock so Luana can kill her, but Luana refuses. Okay.
And then they leave again.
Yeah, and then Luana starts swimming in the water, and they've never seen that, and they start having a go. And then a pterodactyl
shows up, picks up Luana, like disappears over the horizon.
Very cool animation.
Tumak goes to chase. Another pterodactyl shows up, kills the first pterodactyl. Luana drops in the ocean. And then the second pterodactyl eats the first pterodactyl's children in a nest. That it found.
But Tumak just gets over it. Gets there.
This and sees the second pterodactyl eating something in a nest and assumes that Luana's dead.
And he's only like 10 foot from her at one point, but she's she's unconscious or basically prostrate, behind a rock, so he can't see her, and he wanders back. So he kind of wanders off again. And then basically there's
genuinely
the rock tribe has
like 2 days ago, and I cannot remember the full details of what happened.
I was confused there. I wasn't sure if a third tribe turned up, but I think you said it was the same tribe. It was faction.
The brother tries to fully take over, and then Tumak shows up with some of the Shell tribe. So there's two factions of Rock tribe, and the Shell tribe show up, and then the brother basically grabs all the women and runs off.
Oh yeah, they grab the women and run off, and so there's all this hand-to-hand fight, and suddenly a volcano erupts, and then we get a bit of. It looked like something out the Ten Commandments. There's rocks, the earth splitting open, and people falling in, and rocks falling on people for all the way through, and then basically they struggle out the remote. Well, after all the earthquake and all that, the survivors sort of crawl out the wreckage. And the two tribes seem to be merged in this desolate place. And then it ends. Okay. Yeah. The only thing I wanted to add to all this is the brother, who's played by Percy Herbert, is actually a Hammer extra and kind of, you see him in a lot of like Carry On films and stuff like that. It was weird to see him in this because he's usually like a comedy extra. That's when you usually see him. So, they picked an interesting location, right? It was definitely interesting. And Harryhausen, let's get the bad out of the way first, shall we? And we can talk about
there is no story.
There's no story. It's a very weak
zero story.
Weak story.
Like it's somewhat interesting when they start to develop the dialogue, but it's an hour and 40 minutes of no talking, really.
Right. Apart from a narrator who isn't that.
Yeah, narrator shows up and is kind of boring.
But he doesn't last very long. We don't really hear much.
He basically tells us Tumac's name and then the chief's name, which I've already forgotten.
Yeah.
And then just disappears.
And
after going on about how savage the land is.
Yeah, like this is a young Earth, and all this.
Yeah. A young Earth, a savage Earth, sort of thing.
All that. It was. So it was weak from the story point of view. It could have been cut in a few places. 90 minutes would have served this much better, even 80.
Honestly, you could just do this as an hour film. Like it's one of those.
Maybe. I don't want none of the dinosaur stuff to be cut. I don't mind the iguana and the spider, but yeah. In addition, this kind of ties it to James Bond again, because we've already mentioned we've got an M and we've got a Bond girl. Apparently, Luana was initially they were thinking of Ursula Andress.
Oh, that's neat.
But they couldn't afford her, right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Welch was kind of famous at the time and growing in fame, but she was under contract and was told she had to do it. She didn't want to.
Okay.
So she said one of the things she decided to make was that the fact is she'd be spending 6 to 8 weeks in London, and London was like the cultural, was the real focus of the world at this point. Swinging London, it was that era. So but I think she got sent off to Lanzarote.
Oh no, paradise.
Yeah, and of course,
a nice holiday.
This film's famous for the fur bikini. That's what everyone. From this. I quite like the music. It was different from other Hammer. It was kind of not bad, and there was some weird ooh.
Yeah, so it's very Star Trek-y, sort of like sort of thing.
Oh, and it says it. I didn't remember this, but apparently the poster also shows up in the film of Shawshank Redemption at one point.
Okay.
So I think because the original story is about Rita Hayworth, but modern audiences don't really know who Rita Hayworth is that well, whereas Raquel Welch in a fur bikini is one for the ages, really. So it kind of makes sense. So let's see how it did. Apparently, the things they cut in the US was the provocative dance from Martine Bestwick.
Okay.
We didn't mention the 8 men. One gets brained, don't they? And
they kill him and they stick his head on a spike.
So that got cut, and there was some of the Allosaurus attack got cut in those 9 minutes. So it's a PG. I'm trying to figure out how it did. It made 2.5. Hold on. Made 2.5 million in the US. I don't know if that's good or bad. Oh, it needed 2 and a bit million to break even, and made 4 and a bit million. So it made a profit. Yeah, it made a profit.
Yeah, I've just looked at the thing. The budget was $422,000. It made $8 million. So.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So that's pretty. It's got an average rating. I'll check it on in a minute once we've rated ours. Yeah. So it was okay, right? So the good stuff, the good stuff was the Harryhausen, really. Wasn't it? That was
really.
And I quite like the landscape and the music as well,
Yeah.
but it was just too long, really, for the material.
It's so long. So much where just nothing happens. So.
Yeah, it's a bit dull. I think they reused some of the footage in other films where they kind of did caveman-y things. But if I remember rightly, their caveman-y things after this were way scaled down and duller, if anything. They were quite dull. I remember that. This one has at least got some presence. I mean, Wrecker Welsh, is quite iconic. And actually, the bloke playing Tumac was pretty good.
Yeah.
Too. So that was kind of cool. All right. What would you give this out of 10?
I'd give this.
Sorry. Your rating system. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I'd give this. I'd hang it in the low minuses.
Okay.
It's enjoyable because of the Harryhausen stuff, but it's so few and far between.
Yeah. I'd give this a 6, and only just. It's not quite. If it were more boring, it would have been a 5, but it just about edges a 6. And on IMDb, it's 5.7, so kind of close. So not a great one, and a very unusual. We don't really see anything like this from Hammer again. There are a couple of films where there's weird giant monsters, but not anything like this. This is kind of a standalone. It's not the maddest Hammer film, I have to say. But it just seems not Hammer. It seems more like an American studio thing. I wonder why they went into this. And they made a profit, but they didn't. Well, they followed it out with some other ones, which were much lower rent and not very good. But, yeah. Okay, cool. All right, I haven't got any last thoughts before we go?
No, I can't really think so.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing Martine Bestwick later on, and I think we'll probably see Percy Herbert here or there in a few roles.
Yeah, most likely.
We'll see. All right, then. Okay, so bye from me.
Bye.